The movie opens with a man happily driving toward his wife, who has recently undergone important surgery. As he drives, he keeps staring at a music box he plans to give as a gift to her. Ahead of him, there's a car with a mother and a daughter. The little girl waves at him. In a second of distraction, another car comes rushing by and almost hits the little girl's car. As he bypasses the car, there's a flashback of another little girl with her father, playing in the snow. They look happy to be together. The girl's name is Seon Mai. In the present, she's a pretty young woman, who is on her way to meet her boyfriend. Seon Mai carries the same music box from the beginning, and inside, she has a gift for her boyfriend, a perfume she made for him. She arrives at the restaurant late, and her boyfriend isn't happy. Seon Mai apologizes for her delay, yet he remains stoic. Before they can order anything to eat, he informs her that he wants to break up. Seon Mai is confused and hurt about the abruptness of his decision, and that makes her angry. She can't believe she wasted so much time with him. Taking a deep breath to calm herself, she takes a bunch of pills, then throws a glass full of water at his face. As she turns to leave, he holds her arm painfully tight, trying to talk to her. Seon Mai angrily steps away from him and leaves. In the meantime, a handsome aquarium manager called Sang-woo takes his dinner break in front of a river. He notices a woman sitting close by, looking lost and sad, and he worries about her mental health. It's quite obvious she's not feeling well, not with a wet and blotchy face. It's Seon Mai. Sang-woo stares at her every so often, noticing she has a music box sitting beside her. Seon Mai catches him staring at her, and it bothers her. Sang-woo quickly explains that he enjoys the song from the music box, which is strange because the music box is broken. Seon Mai is so drunk she doesn't realize that he's hearing things. She steps away from him and goes to the riverbank to think. She remembers the day her father passed away, and how painful it was for her to lose him. She already lost her mother when she was a baby, and her father passed when she was only 11. With no family besides an aunt, Seon Mai had a hard life growing up. The present isn't so much better. She has the same disease as her father, and she's worried about what will happen to her. She doesn't want to pass away. There's so much to life that she has yet to explore. Sang-woo watches the drunk woman talking to herself with a worried expression. She's too close to the riverbank. She could fall in if she loses her balance. When Seon Mai shakily stands up, he quickly holds her to prevent an accident from happening. In her drunken mind, though, Seon Mai thinks he's taking advantage of her and pushes him into the water. Noticing her mistake, she runs away, leaving her music box behind. The following day, Seon Mai goes to work as if nothing happened. She is an apothecary in a small business with her friend, and her specialty is perfumes. Her friend asks about her date with her boyfriend, and she lies that it was fine. Seon Mai doesn't want to worry her friend, and she isn't as sad as the day before. After seeing the bruises her ex left on her arm, she believes breaking up with him was the best option. Later on, she goes to the doctor and receives good news. Her disease is stable. The doctor, Joe, is a family friend, the same one who took care of her father. After years of treating her, he became a father figure to her. As Seon Mai is leaving the hospital, she watches a little girl interacting with her father and remembers when her father played the music box for her. Then she realizes she doesn't have the music box with her, and she has no idea where she left it. Back to Sang-woo, besides being the aquarium manager, he's also a swimmer who's trying to become professional. His coach is his former brother-in-law, Nam. They have a tense relationship because of Sang-woo's sister. Nam and she were married, but she passed away after fighting against the same disease. Nam believes Sang-woo is too old to become a professional and should focus on making a family. Sang-woo strongly disagrees. After he leaves his training, he decides to give the music box back to its owner, the crazy woman from the riverbank. He goes to the apothecary store where she works late at night, giving her a scare. Different from the night before, though, she's not as harsh and invites him in. She's very happy and relieved when he hands her the music box back. It's the only thing she has left of her father, and it's important to her. Before Sang-woo can leave, Seon Mai invites him to dinner as a way to say thanks. They get to know each other a bit better as he eats. Sang-woo is a nice person, and he's quite handsome too. He also notices the bruises on her wrist, and she lies about them, saying that she bumped into something. Sang-woo quickly grabs some medicine he takes for his muscles and softly rubs it on her wrist. His kindness touches Seon Mai's heart. She is so used to fending for herself since she was a kid that she doesn't know what to do or say. When they are leaving together, she asks to see his hands, commenting that they are big and strong, like her father's. Sang-woo doesn't know the depth of her compliment, but he's happy anyway. They go their separate ways with big smiles on their faces and hearts pounding faster. Seon Mai goes to her hometown to visit her hospitalized friend. Before going to the hospital, she makes a quick stop at her aunt's restaurant, a place that holds many good memories for her. After her father's passing, and finding out she had the same disease, Seon Mai had to spend a lot of time at the hospital. Her aunt was the one to take care of her during this period. Her aunt is very happy to see her again after so long, glad that she seems to be fine. After that visit, Seon Mai goes to the hospital to visit her best childhood friend. He's at an advanced stage of his disease, and he doesn't look well. Seon Mai's heart clenches when she sees him. Deep down, she knows that will be her fate too. The following day, Seon Mai goes after Sang-woo. After visiting her friend, Seon Mai realized that she has to enjoy her life for as long as she can. She likes Sang-woo, and she wants to go out with him again. Sang-woo is happily surprised to see her there. Butterflies fly in their stomachs as they talk, and Seon Mai helps him to prepare the penguin's food. She points out that his hands smell like fish, and it reminds her of her father. She explains that both he and her mother passed away when she was young, and that the music box is the only thing she has left of her father. It was the last gift he gave her before he passed away. Sang-woo feels sorry for her, because he knows what it feels like to lose someone. He feels connected to Seon Mai in a way he has never felt before. She's pretty, sweet, and strong. He admires her tenacity in the face of her adversities. All he wants is to kiss her and never stop. He gets his chance when Seon Mai almost falls into the water while feeding the penguins, and he holds her. Seeing her beautiful smile is too much for him. Without hesitation, he grabs her face and kisses her. From then on, they start seeing each other every day. Sang-woo is everything Seon Mai needs to forget her sad fate, and she enjoys her time with him whenever she can. With him, she can say she has never been happier. Days turn into weeks, and soon it's time to take the relationship to the next level. Seon Mai invites Sang-woo over to her house, and he's nervous about what's going to happen there. Seon Mai thinks he's cute for being so nervous, and makes fun of him. Seon Mai's house is small but cozy. She even has a betta fish, which she says is as resilient as she is. Sang-woo finds it strange that she's comparing herself to one of the most common fish in the world. When she leaves for a moment to grab them something to drink, Sang-woo goes snooping and finds her hospital tag. He's confused for a moment, because she never mentioned being sick to him. Before he can ask if she's fine, Seon Mai walks into the room looking like a ghost, with her nose bleeding. She's almost passing out when Sang-woo grabs her and runs to the closest ambulance. Seon Mai is taken to the hospital by herself, leaving a confused Sang-woo behind. The next day, Seon Mai finds out from her doctor that her disease has gotten worse. If she doesn't do a bone marrow transplant, she won't survive. It's a hard truth to swallow, and Seon Mai feels as if her life has already ended, just when she found happiness with Sang-woo. It's too painful to think about what will happen from then on. Sang-woo is rightfully upset and lost as to what he can do for Seon Mai. Seeing her sick reminded him of his sister, and he doesn't know if he can lose someone important to him again. He goes swimming to cool his head. After his practice, he and Nam go to his sister's memorial to pay their respects. Sang-woo asks his friend if he regrets staying with his sister until the end. Nam doesn't have an answer to that question. He loved his wife, but she took a piece of him when she passed away, a piece he has yet to recover. Sang-woo decides on staying with Seon Mai, much to her surprise. She thought for sure they would break up, especially because he didn't visit her at the hospital. When she arrives home and he's there, waiting for her with a huge grin, she's baffled. Sang-woo fixed a bunch of things in her home for her, changing even her password for his birthday. Seon Mai tries not to show up straight away, but she wants to cry from utter joy. She thought she would have to face her disease alone, fighting to stay alive with no one at her side. Seeing Sang-woo gives her hope that she can face her adversities and come out victorious. Sang-woo explains to her that at first he was frightened. After he heard from her doctor about the severity of her disease, he didn't know if he could bear losing her. After thinking a lot, he decided he prefers to be with her for as long as possible. Seon Mai doesn't know what to say, not that Sang-woo is waiting for an answer. He kisses her instead, and they get intimate for the first time. Their relationship only strengthens after that. They love each other very much, and are always together. One day, while waiting for him to finish his swimming practice, Seon Mai talks to Nam and finds out about his wife. She passed away a year ago, and they are all still mourning her. Nam subtly informs Seon Mai that Sang-woo has been acting weird and asking strange questions, like if he regretted being with his sister until the end. Seon Mai understands right away why he asked that. He was trying to decide if it would be worth it to stay with her or not. It's painful to hear that Sang-woo had doubts. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, Seon Mai promises him that she will give her best to fight her disease. He won't lose her. A few days later, Sang-woo invites her to the aquarium and proposes to her while swimming. Seon Mai feels a pang in her heart, a sudden fear that she won't be able to fulfill her promise. It's Sang-woo's smile that makes her accept. She won't allow her disease to rule her entire life anymore. They start planning their wedding. Sang-woo doesn't want to waste time, so he goes to tell his parents. They aren't happy that their only son is marrying a sick girl. When they meet Seon Mai for the first time, they are very rude to her, announcing that they don't agree with the wedding. For someone with no parents left, Seon Mai is hurt that Sang-woo won't have them there on the most important day of his life. She feels guilty that she's taking that experience away from him. Sang-woo surprises her again when he comes to her defense. He's ashamed of his parents' behavior, treating Seon Mai as if she's not worth it, only because she's sick. The day of their wedding arrives, and they are alone. Only Nam and Dr. Jo show up at the ceremony. Seon Mai looks beautiful in her wedding dress. Walking down the aisle without their families is a bittersweet feeling. She remembers her father again, and how he would probably apologize for his daughter's sickness. Sang-woo assures her that there's nothing he would rather be doing than getting married to her. Their relationship only strengthens after the wedding. Xianmai takes some time off work to take care of Sang-woo, and they are living in bliss, at least until Xianmai starts getting sick again. It all starts with constant coughs that she pretends are the result of a cold. She lies to Sang-woo about the severity of the situation, even after she goes to the doctor to confirm her fears. She's getting worse. Sang-woo is training for a competition in China, a dream come true for him. Xianmai fears that if she tells him the truth, he will give up on his dream to take care of her. On the day of his playoff, Xianmai does a test to find out if she has cancer. She arrives late at his competition, and he almost loses. Thankfully, he overcomes it and wins, classifying himself for the competition in China. Xianmai is very proud of him, knowing how important it is to him. Once again, she lies about the hospital visit, always downplaying it to him. Sadly, her pretending is reaching an end when she finds out she has cancer. It's the last stage of her disease, the most dangerous one. Xianmai feels as if the ground has opened up underneath her. She has no idea what to do. Her biggest fear has come to fruition. After her appointment, she goes to the riverbank where she met Sang-woo for the first time and cries. Meanwhile, Sang-woo has a bad omen when one of his betta fish passes away. When he gets home, he finds out Xianmai isn't there. She left her phone and her wedding ring behind. He quickly goes after Dr. Jo to find out what happened. After much insistence, Dr. Jo informs him that Xianmai has cancer and that she pleaded with him not to see Sang-woo. She knows what will happen to her, and she doesn't want him as a witness. Dr. Jo asks him to respect her wishes. Sang-woo feels detached as he leaves the hospital. He can't believe all the lies Xianmai told him, the way she pretended everything was fine. He should have noticed that she wasn't okay. He blames himself for the oversight. Xianmai is hospitalized at the same hospital as her friend. He's in the last stage of his disease, almost passing away. Looking at him is like looking in a mirror. Sang-woo decides to give Xianmai time and space. His life is a mess. He's hurt and depressed, afraid of losing the love of his life without talking to her again. He stops going home and sleeps at the aquarium. Days go by like this. Nam, tired of seeing his friend hurting so much, finds Xianmai's address and gives it to him. He warns Sang-woo that the next part will be hard, and he may regret it down the line. Sang-woo doesn't care, all he wants is to see Xianmai again. Xianmai's friend passed away days after she got hospitalized. She feels completely alone now. Sang-woo arrives at the hospital and sees her after a long time. She looks sick, tired, and defeated. Xianmai tries pushing him away, but he refuses to go. Cutting his thumb, he presses it against their wedding certificate, promising to never give up on her. Xianmai can't take it anymore and accepts him back. They hug tight, holding their pieces together. Sang-woo fulfills his promises and looks after Xianmai. He makes her food and tea, and stays with her almost every day. One day, Nam informs him that his permission to go to China arrived, but he refuses it. He won't be away from Xianmai, no matter what. When he goes back to the hospital, Xianmai isn't in her room. He quickly searches for her and finds her outside, waiting for his return. He wakes her up and sits next to her. Xianmai points out that she hasn't seen snow even once during that winter. Sang-woo mentions that the sea looks a lot like snow, with its bubbles. To fulfill her wish of seeing snow, Sang-woo takes her to the aquarium, turning on the bubbles for her. Xianmai is taken to a faraway place, full of snow and happiness. She's very glad for Sang-woo's presence in her life. She has no idea if she would be able to continue fighting without him. On their way back, though, Xianmai faints in the restroom, and he has to quickly take her back. Xianmai is depressed and hopeless after that. She's bitter that she has to go through such a painful endeavor, and she's tired of fighting. She has been fighting since she was just a kid. For the first time ever, Sang-woo is upset with his wife. He thinks she's giving up. He doesn't understand how hard it is for her sometimes. A few days later, his parents visit the hospital for the first time. His father hands Sang-woo the contact of a doctor in Japan that might help Xianmai get a bone marrow transplant. Sang-woo is thankful to his father, though he still doesn't accept his marriage. His mother visits Xianmai. She apologizes for not going to their wedding, but that she still can't accept their relationship. She feels as if her son won't survive losing another person, and it isn't fair for him to go through that again. At the same time, she's not completely heartless. She wishes Xianmai gets better so that they can get to know each other properly. Her words arouse a mix of feelings inside Xianmai. She understands why they are so reluctant to accept her. They are traumatized from losing their daughter so soon. Xianmai only wishes they could be a family, since she doesn't have hers anymore. Without Sang-woo, the only person to visit or care about her would be her aunt. It's a sad realization. Before her mother-in-law can leave, she asks for a hug. The older woman accepts and holds her tight, while both of them cry. A month later, they go to a town called Akita in Japan. It's a very beautiful place bordered by the sea and snow-capped mountains. A Japanese man who knows Sang-woo's father is their guide in the hospital. There's a woman with compatible bone marrow for Xianmai. On their way to the hospital, Xianmai watches the sea and asks the man to stop the car. There's a beautiful view of the sea, and Xianmai wants to enjoy it. They enjoy their trip before her transplant, staying at a nice inn and going sightseeing. Sang-woo is hopeful that Xianmai will recover, while she tries not to be too optimistic. Sang-woo finds a place to fix Xianmai's music box, as a surprise for her when she wakes up. On the day of the transplant, Seon Mai also gives him a gift, a perfume she made for him that resembles the smell of snow and the sea. Sang-woo mentions he also has a gift for her, but it's a surprise. The surgery goes smoothly, and her body accepts the bone marrow. It means that she will be cured and survive. Sang-woo is so happy that he can barely contain it. He wants to scream to the world that they made it. While Seon Mai rests, he leaves to grab her gift. The music box is working once again, much to Sang-woo's glee. Nothing could get better that day. On his way back to the hospital, the ground is wet because of melted snow. There's a car with a little girl and her mother ahead of him. The girl waves at him, and he waves back. An out-of-control car comes into the little girl's car, but they swerve. As he watches the car swerving, Sang-woo doesn't see the truck coming in his direction. He's hit, and his car overturns. When Seon Mai wakes up from her surgery, their guide is there to give her the bad news. Sang-woo passed away in the accident. Seon Mai doesn't know how to react. She's in shock. When she sees Sang-woo's body lying down on a table, her world falls apart. She relentlessly tries waking him up, begging him to come back to her. She pleads until her voice is hoarse and she doesn't have any strength left. As if it's a joke from the universe, Sang-woo's life is traded for Seon Mai's. Once again, she sees herself alone and adrift in the world. A year later, Seon Mai is completely recovered from her disease, yet she has no happiness to share or will to continue living. She tries getting by day, feeling numb from her constant pain. Her meeting with Sang-woo's parents never happened. She's too ashamed to face them. After their only son passed away in an accident she feels guilty for. Trying to overcome her grief, Seon Mai goes back to Akita, where she last saw Sang-woo. The town is as beautiful as it was before, nothing changed. The world remained unaffected by Sang-woo's passing. Even though Seon Mai's life fell apart, she goes to the place overlooking the sea with her music box. For the first time in a year, she opens it. There's a letter from Sang-woo, along with his wedding ring. In the letter, he declares he had a dream a day before her surgery, in which they were facing each other. In the dream, Seon Mai turns her back and leaves him. Sang-woo thought it was related to her surgery, an omen that she would leave him forever. But it was an omen for his own passing. Seon Mai starts sobbing as she reads his heartfelt letter, feeling as if he is there next to her. As she cries, snow starts falling from the sky, mingling with the salt water from the sea. Seon Mai's heart clenches painfully, but she feels that coming to Akita again is cathartic. She needed to say goodbye to Sang-woo and accept that he is not in her life anymore. He's gone forever, but she's the legacy of his unending loyalty and commitment. The proof of the man he was, kind, selfless, and the best partner she could ever have wanted.